Hello, my name is Cam Ayala. I am 37 years young. I am a right above the knee amputee. And when I'm not working with the Department of Veterans Affairs as a product specialist, I enjoy volunteering with a prison ministry organization where I serve on the worship band playing harmonica. My amputation story is somewhat complicated, but I'm going to try to be really succinct here. Essentially, I was born with a disease called lymphedema, predominantly in my right leg, where I had chronic swelling and a lot of infections. Ultimately, our last-ditch effort for limb salvage was to do a right total knee replacement. That was in 2021, and unfortunately, there was some surgical error and that option failed. So on June 22nd, 2022, I underwent an elective above-knee amputation. So for me, that first year living as an amputee had a lot of challenges, things that I kind of expected just based on research, and a lot of the unknown variables. You go through physical therapy and occupational therapy to learn everyday life activities like learning how to drive with your left foot in my case, getting dressed, bathing, a lot of those everyday activities, but there's a lot of it too that is still very much trial and error. Traveling, for example, as an amputee has some pros and cons, but really that first year as an amputee, it was an opportunity for me to connect with other amputees who were way further along in their limb loss journeys, getting all of their tips and tricks and life hacks and their pearls of wisdom, and really just having that safe space of vulnerability. One of my biggest challenges that first year as an amputee was the socket fit, right? Going from your traditional sockets with a lanyard, then transitioning to a couple of the different adjustable socket variations. So my best advice is to just really be your own advocate and find a prosthetist who is willing to work and experiment with you to give you the optimal results in your new life with new mobility. My amputation proverbial rebuild was really looking back at all the things that I used to be able to do, like playing able-bodied basketball, being able to run, obviously with both legs. Those were all things that I lost. And as soon as I became an amputee, I put an overwhelming amount of pressure on myself to compete at the next Paralympics, right? Whether it was wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball, I was in this constant performative state where I was out to be everybody's inspiration. And there's nothing wrong with having goals and desires for greatness, but when that became my sole identity, it was really my ego that needed to have some work and to be lessened and hopefully removed. So here I am now 3 years and some change post-amputation, and I really just have more gratitude now to not think about the things that I can no longer do, but focus on the things that I can do, and to be open-minded to try new activities, and then ultimately be in a position to give empathy and sympathy to other people who are living with limb loss or limb difference. Community, community, community. I cannot stress enough the importance of community. I honestly cannot imagine going through my limb loss journey alone and being isolated. Yes, there were days, there were moments where I wanted to throw myself the pity party and allow myself to feel those feelings and emotions, but you cannot successfully go through a life of limb loss or limb difference alone or in a vacuum. The importance of having friends, family, and for me, members of my church community here locally, to be able to lift me up in those seasons or in those moments when I frankly can't do it by myself. And one of the strongest things a human being can do is to have the courage and boldness to ask for help when things are challenging or when you simply cannot do it on your own. So that is my encouragement, to seek a community, whether it's local in your community or even online with other people living with limb loss or limb difference. It's there if you seek it, and it will help you spiritually, mentally, physically. That is truly holistic health. Go find your community. Now here's my message to the medical community. As somebody who professionally works in the healthcare space, I have seen personally a lot of the shortcomings and things like making it very difficult for a patient or their provider to get certain surgical procedures, prosthetic devices, physical therapy, and other necessary treatment protocols covered by their insurance. As well in other less developed countries such as in South America and parts of Africa, where I have personally experienced people with no access or virtually no access to prosthetic care. So my challenge for the prosthetic manufacturers and for the insurance companies is let's get smarter. Let's use the technology that we have currently and are developing, like 3D printing and artificial intelligence, to make prosthetic care accessible, not to just the insured patient in the United States, but for the patient in a country that has been overlooked or currently does not have any access of care. We can do it, but we gotta do it together. Here's my advice to somebody who is new to the limb loss or limb difference community. First off, it is very, very important to acknowledge your pain and your grief in this season or this moment of mourning. You just lost something. And if you allow that to be bottled up inside, it's way harder, and it actually just prolongs your healing journey and the healing cascade. So allow your time to grieve what it is you've lost, but then inversely, don't allow yourself to stay in that space for months, for years. Again, there are resources available to you. There's patient support groups, online and in person, a whole world of social media to connect with other people living with limb loss and limb difference. You are not alone. You are loved. You are cared for. And most importantly, regardless what you lacked, you are still a complete person. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Even though there's bad days, there's always brighter days ahead. My name is Cam Ayala. I'm from the United States. And my body is a gift from God. That my time here on earth is meant to steward it to the best way that I can, understanding that over time it will change, but there is gratitude in the things that I have. There's mourning in the things that I lack, but there's a hope in the community, in my faith, and in people like you joining this journey for the first time. God bless you.